YouTube, it's your boy AK, and I am back with another video, man. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Listen, man, we have a NASCAR video today, man. We finna react to the craziest crashes during the Daytona 500, bro. We finna react to this video, man. We finna get this video started. And you know what I'm saying? We finna react, we finna, you know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what's going on, man. It's your boy AK, road to 200 subscribers. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, man. It's your boy AK, man. I'm out. Gang. Y'all already know what's going on, man. It's your boy AK, man. We finna react to this video. We finna get this video going, man. Let's go.
Oh, that's
a
heavy hit.
God. Oh my God.
Right rear, right into the wall, head on like that.
I think this the one. I think this one of the videos we reacted to.
One of the hardest hits that you can take in a race car when you get turned in the middle of the straightaway, right front into the wall. And it is so violent, and I'm so happy to see him put that window neck down quick. I know the car was on fire and he was in a hurry, but you can hear it in his voice how bad it hurt, and you're going to see him shoot up right here.
You hear him go back to the gas, saving grace.
A little dicey down the back straightaway. Cars get a little bit loose and crazy as they get the end of the back straightaway.
I mean, do they think it's 10 to go?
Trouble. Here we go. Here we go.
Jimmy Johnson got turned.
That's what
and
happens.
Piled up behind him.
14:48.
That's what happens when the whole bunch of cars get stacked up like that, man.
Wow. Lord have mercy.
Damn.
Now watch Jimmy Johnson outside, second row.
Oh, they got four wide. What happened was the one car, he snuck to the outside of the 48, getting into turn 3, and the 6 tried to go to the inside.
Man, Jeff Gordon nailed this spot on. It's not even 10 laps to go, and they're racing like it is. Jimmy Johnson couldn't really decide on a line which to go in. Trevor Bayne filled the hole and made it 4 wide and ended up clipping Jimmy Johnson's quarter panel, sending Johnson spinning across the racetrack, collecting Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer, and Daytona 500 champion Kevin Harvick. The cool thing about this clip is Kurt Busch actually scraped the wall, and he ended up winning the race, and the raced version car of this is really cool.
Correct. Here's the big one.
Wow, he won a race. That's wild. He won a race even though he crashed. That's dope.
Sure does.
That's never giving up.
See Joey Logano really aggressive to the rear bumper of the 10. He's going to push him all the way up to the 2. And they just, right before the 10 gets there, there's a little bit of movement. And that little bit of movement, when you make that much contact, turns your car right around. That's exactly what happened to Brad Keselowski and the 10 of Almirola.
And that happens right in front of most of the field.
And that really all started with a big push from Joey Logano. Remember Joey Logano talking on the radio earlier about, you got to tell me when I'm pushing that car and it's going to make contact with the car in front of us. Well, that happened right there with his teammate.
In the closing laps of the 2020 Daytona 500, Brad Keselowski will once again get clipped down the backstretch and get sent spinning around, causing a massive crash. I feel bad for Brad Keselowski because it seems like every year he gets turned on the backstretch with just a handful of laps to go, causing a massive crash and not being able to finish the race, even with the strong car. This ultimately would wipe out so many competitors and cars in this race that it would take forever to clean up, and there would be very few cars left to even finish the race. This crash took out over 15 cars.
Here comes Kyle Busch with a push from Boyer on the inside.
Damn, it took out over 15 cars. See, another crowd, look at all them people. It's bunched up.
Are you kidding me? This is big. Wow.
All it takes is, all it takes is one person.
Boy, just reminds me of the class. Same type of carnage that we saw where these cars were going everywhere.
Everybody going down.
A lot of damage as they all got to turn 3.
Outside lane, DiBenedetto and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Paul Menard giving a pretty nice push down the back straightaway to DiBenedetto. Gets to his right rear. Oh, yeah, that just starts to turn him a little bit.
Got him in the right rear.
And then he collects Menard. Logano just misses it, but the whole outside lane and half the inside pile up.
And this is exactly what we were just talking about. At this stage in the race, you can start to taste victory in the Daytona 500. You want to see that checkered flag, and you'll do anything to get it.
Yeah,
and you know you've got to be more aggressive
like
with
that,
those
bro.
bump drafts.
That looks exactly like the clash.
I
mean, all those cars,
the
third
whole
turn,
circle of the
all those cars wadded up,
tires
sliding up the track with sparks flying. It looked so much like the clash.
In the closing laps of the 2019 Daytona 500, Matt DiBenedetto, being pushed by Paul Menard on the outside lane, had a strong surge of momentum on the top. It was ultimately until Menard would unhook with DiBenedetto and send him spinning across the racetrack. There were so many cars who just piled into this accident because they had nowhere to go and they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. This is what happens at superspeedway racing. It's the rubber band effect. You come back together and the entire field will come flying apart if there's one car that spins right in front of you. So many cars were taken out in this accident.
Oh, he can't get that pushed. Oh,
into the wall he goes. And they'll collect more cars behind. The 14 stays on the ground.
Brake, hold the brake, hold the brake.
You can see it happening as he was coming around. Bubba Wallace with contact right there. Watching those guys go around turn 3 and 4. The 14's driving up the racetrack. He is sideways. He's loose. Right in the left rear quarter panel goes the 48. The 48 wants to push him, but he needs to push him in the right side. But the 14's driving up the track loose, and that offsets him the wrong way.
When leading the race coming off of turn 4 at Daytona, Chase Briscoe was touched by Alex Bowman and he overcorrected, sending himself spinning in the outside wall. This was one of the weirdest crashes of the NASCAR Next Gen that I've seen at Daytona, but what ensued behind it was a wild wreck, taking out playoff hopefuls Bubba Wallace and other competitors. Austin Dillon, who you see sliding sideways in pit road, he actually ended up winning this race after an even bigger crash happened just a few laps later.
Wow, it seems like a lot of people that get in crashes, they just...
Harvick slides up in front of traffic.
Cars upside
He was
down,
in
cars
the
everywhere.
air.
And turn 4 is
Oh my
calamity
God.
corner once again. The field is frozen. Jeff Gordon came across with Stewart and Johnson side
was
by
in the
side.
air like a
But there
tornado,
are
bro.
half a dozen cars littered
Oh
between
my God,
turn
he was in
3
there
and the
like a
start-finish
tornado.
line.
That's
All right.
Last year's third place finisher, Scott Wimmer. The 29 of Kevin Harvick. The 42 of Jamie
He
McMurray.
was in there like
One
a
of these
tornado.
cars was
That's
just standing
crazy.
up on its nose, swimming, spinning around like a water spout.
Greg Biffle. Jeff Burton had lost an engine prior to this. He coasts onto pit road between turns 3 and 4.
Because something happened to Greg Biffle, the 16 car that triggered all this.
I believe, watch it, see if it's Harvick's car. Oh, no, it's the 22 car.
Scott Wimmer.
Look at him just spinning around. He got up on his nose and come back down on his wheels.
Damn.
That Busch, it's Kurt Busch. He got to
That's what
run.
you signed up for.
Got to run.
man.
97 car. Kurt Busch really got to run. Hey, watch the 21 car right on by. That 97 has shown to be fast, very fast. And watch it stay for him here. He's trouble.
Contact on the
oh.
stretch. It's Mike Waltrip and now Brian Vickers. Robbie Gordon, 31. The top. Oh, Waltrip's over.
25 guys
Hey,
doing
just
it.
fly for a minute.
3 times for Michael Waltrip.
Well, there's the
Now,
big
this
one
is a
right
big
there. Took a lot. There's a lot of good cars right there. Is that Sterling Marlin in there?
40 cars in it. That's Michael Waltrip's
Damn,
car
he's
upside down.
Damn. But you want to know what's so crazy about this though? These cars is probably one of the safest cars though, if you think about it. Like, cause if you want to be honest, they is one of the safest cars to get in a crash in, because like they train, these cars is made to get in it, to end up hitting somebody or be crashed at 180 miles per hour, 160, 200 miles per hour. So they made these cars particularly for racing and for protection, knowing that you can possibly get in a crash, and you can get in a crash. And that's what make it safe, and they made it safe. That's why you like really don't see a lot of NASCAR drivers really be getting hurt for real. Or like they probably like get hurt, but like injured or like death, like you know what I'm saying? You know, I see death because the NASCARs is very safe cars compared to the cars that you normally see on the legal street. Legal street cars, they probably, NASCAR cars is probably safer than the legal street cars. If you, for real, NASCAR cars is way safer than legal street cars, bro. Real talk.
Daytona is one of the most fierce and dangerous tracks that's ever been built. And over the years, we've seen some dramatic and traumatic crashes at Daytona. And Micah Waltrip proved that even in the grass, it's not safe. Micah Waltrip in 2004 got spun into the grass and his car hooked in the grass, making a rut and sending his car flipping violently down the back straightaway. Thankfully, Micah Waltrip was okay, but it took a long time for them to clean up this massive accident because he was trapped in his race car upside down. This was one of the early crashes of the 2004 season, and it really set the tone of a wild year that would ensue.
Damn. Oh, airborne. Bro, that car looked like a, upside down spinning. Upside down, still spinning. Still spinning, still spinning, still spinning, still spinning. He's still alive though. That's how safe them cars is though. Bro, that car looked like a toy car in air. That car didn't even look like a car. It
Get some kind of big move here off turn 4 like Kevin did.
Oh, look, oh my God, he flipped and landed.
4 cars around.
Oh,
one
wow.
on its roof. One car hard into the wall.
That was a...
And it ends in flames and sparks.
Our front row sitter up here, he's got a torn up race car,
Mark
78
Trix,
car.
Jimmy Johnson, he looks okay. Front end of his car on fire.
Menard had a fast car all day long, and here comes McMurray, and he just gets a little bit of piece of that 48. A lot like happened in the Unlimited. Looked like Jimmy's car just got loose and spun.
Look at Clint Boyer in that 15 car get up in the air.
Thing went all,
Yeah,
he did a 360.
He did do a 360 though. He Boyer dude, he don't remember that. How he probably
came
be
right
saying
back
that
down
now,
on
like,
its wheels.
how he just flipped and he just landed back
he'll
and
cross
it
the
was just an
start-finish
amazing
line because it
experience.
goes all the way across the infield.
But it's wild though, man. And he just drives away. Crazy.
You can see the outside 48 Alex Bowman doing a little side drafting to the right side of Eric Almirola.
And I see a gap in between Eric and the 20 car.
And look at the push coming from Kyle Busch to his teammate Christopher Bell. Now that's going to get him to the rear bumper.
Big shot.
Yep. He just got over on that right side.
I could tell you another part of that equation, Jeff. These cars, they have skew in the rear ends. That's obviously for speed and make the cars go fast, make them pull up to other cars. It's also, in my experience, makes them squirrely. When that car hits him, it pushes that car into the steer of the rear end, and it can turn you in a heartbeat.
Or so reminiscent when Eric Almirola lost the lead in the closing yards of this race in 2018.
He was along for the ride. As soon as that contact hit, it just turned his car right. He took the words right out of my mouth. Unbelievable. Crushing blow to so many teams, so many efforts that it goes into having fast cars and being at this Daytona 500. That was a lot of heavy hitters in this one.
Teammate Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards, 3 Fords. Trouble hard already. The wall. Slams to the outside. It's 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson. He collects Danica Patrick and the 34 of David Reagan.
Trevor Bayne, the 21 car winner from last year. You see him involved?
Kurt Busch is involved.
I'm a little worried about Jimmy. He took a hard lick right in the door. And there's the HenryCar.com Chevrolet of Kurt Busch. He's got damage.
1 lap and 600 feet, and it's calamity.
Oh my gosh. Ooh. Just got a little tap in the back end.
I believe that might have been Elliott Sadler at 33.
Elliott Sadler gave him just a little tap. Right here's what I was talking about. Watch Danica. Right there, she gets some damage, but then watch her go down. Jimmy's car's total, but watch her right here. Right between those 2 cars.
First caution of the night, lap 2.
After waiting around for 36 hours, it was time to get the 2012 Daytona 500 underway. But it didn't take long for calamity to ensue, as Elliott Sadler would give a bad bump to Jimmy Johnson, sending him hard into the outside wall and collecting Daytona 500 hopeful Danica Patrick. It was her very first full-time race at Daytona, and she was excited, but ultimately, her day was over only on lap 2. This was a violent crash to start out the night.
Oh, they got trucks now? Oh, he's in the air. Number 17. Number 17. Just damn. So people don't have backup cars though? So people don't have backup cars? What? So when you get in a crash, so if somebody hit, dang, that's messed up. You can't even have like a backup car if it wasn't even your fault or nothing like that to get in the race. That's wild, bro.
Here.
That's wild. That's why I see why. That's why you gotta be careful, bro. Like real talk, bro. It's crazy though.
Just contact from Daniel Dye turns him over.
Bailey Curry in the middle of that mess. Matt Crafton sliding along. He keeps his truck pointed in the right direction. Look at Matt storm out of there.
It's crazy.
Let's ride with Daniel Dye.
Our
You
Fox
can't even get a
reporter.
second chance.
And cameraman.
Because if somebody hits you, you're done. That's it. You ain't get no trophy. That's it. Just like that. You can get hit in the second round. First, I think that girl got hit right, so she got hit in the second round. And her it's tragic.
Daniel had no idea there was going to be a truck right in front of him.
But you know, stuff happens, bro. Just
went down that straightaway. That is scary looking.
It's just amazing.
But like you said, that's about as soft as you can turn one over.
That's exactly right. And it didn't just keep tumbling either, like we've seen happen so many times. I don't know if Roger just lost the front end of his number 71 Chevy or
I need to start seeing
down
trucks
there,
bro.
But he definitely went up the track and made contact.
Coming to the completion of the Truck Series race in 2024 saw Taylor Gray do a barrel roll over the entire pack while battling for the win at Daytona. Now this is something wild to see. I remember watching this and my jaw was dropped on the floor. To see a truck barrel rolling again down the back straightaway, just as Matt Crafton did years prior, it was honestly insane that it happened again. Thankfully Taylor Gray was okay, but this was a wild thing to witness. The 2020 Daytona Clash saw one of the most stupidest restarts I've ever seen. So many cars spun their tires, it was honestly hilarious to see how many drivers spun out, and some of them even ended their day. They couldn't even finish because the damage they got from this accident. I've never seen such skillful drivers mess up on a restart this bad.
Now Logano the outside. They can't get around. Whoa! Keselowski gets turned by William Byron. Blaney gets caught up. Gilliland, Truex, Hamlin, and more. All those Fords were struggling to get around Chastain. Who could get around and get that clean air track position first? That's what happened.
Ooh, just like I talked about a moment ago, Brad Keselowski spinning down the backstretch with a couple laps to go at Daytona seems to always happen.
He was this close
to
to getting tapped. If he would have got his shit tapped on,
chance to win the Great American Race. Ultimately, until Alex Bowman hit his teammate William Byron down the backstretch,
he might not even get damage for it
and
because
Brad
he's in the front.
like Joe Logano and many other cars. I think it's really funny how nowadays in Super Speedway racing, if you're the one who starts the wreck, you usually are the one who avoids the, and honestly, sometimes you win the race. And this is exactly what happened to William Byron when he clipped Brad Keselowski and sent him spinning around. I understand Byron won the race, and technically he didn't necessarily start the wreck because his teammate Alex Bowman did, but still, regardless, Byron is the one who made contact and was actually still the winner of the race just a couple laps later. No matter the type of driver you are, you know looking at this is extremely wrong. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in retaliation decided to wreck Brian Vickers after being upset with him. What would cause behind him would be a massive big one for the Great American Race in 2009. It would take out the strongest driver of the day, Kyle Busch, who looked to finally win the Daytona 500. Ultimately, Dale Jr. in this situation was definitely in the wrong. Brian Vickers would get spun up the track and collect multiple vehicles and cause the biggest crash of the 2009 Speed Weeks at Daytona.
Not at all.
That's so messed up. It was battling it. He was trying to protect his first place spot, bro. Damn.
Upside down.
In a shower of sparks on his roof, Ryan Newman comes across the line, fourth. And comes to rest.
He was trying to protect his first place spot.
Scoring. Unofficial.
Coming to the finish of the 2020 Daytona 500, we saw one of the most horrific crashes we've seen at Daytona in many years.
First place
Ryan Newman looked to finally be able to win a second Daytona 500 until a bad block on Ryan Blaney would align his rear bumper and Blaney's front bumper wrong. Newman would then be sent into the outside wall, going so fast his car would be flipped upside down, and then Corey LaJoie, with nowhere to go, would come plowing in and hit driver's side first.
Final lap?
This is one of the most horrific crashes in the final lap of Daytona that has probably ever happened since Dale Sr. in 2001. Thankfully, after the scariness of waiting, and forever it felt like, Ryan Newman was okay and was able to walk out of the hospital just a couple of days later.
Bro, he was just trying to protect his first place spot for
Okay, now, these guys, their job, if you're Austin Dillon, one of those guys,
run Kevin Harvick has on the bottom.
Now the 5 can go to the outside. They're all trying to build that run that Keselowski did.
Here goes the 3 car.
Will Dillon have help? No, they come down to block. Logano goes back up. Keselowski with him. McDowell
he go to first place spot again. Hey, battling it out. It's close. That third and fourth spot.
Around they go.
Straight line. Look at that. Look at that. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, that first place spot, bro.
Is out.
A lot of people be trying to get them. It's like that first, second, third place. It's like they got a bounty, bro. You need to learn. You need to learn how to drive.
McDowell is first to the line, but we'll have to go back to the moment of caution, which ends the race. Brad Keselowski is climbing out. He's okay. Joey Logano, we see taking off the gloves and the steering wheel.
I think McDowell's a winner of this race, guys.
He was first across the line. NASCAR will review and have to determine the finish at the moment of caution.
Damn.
And we'll wait for official word.
Huge win, if that's the case.
But Bob Jenkins' Front Row Motorsports crew is celebrating on pit road.
Oh, wouldn't that be incredible? You're going to see some emotion on this guy if this comes back official.
A lot of tore up race cars.
All the Chevys torn up. You saw Priest with damage. Chase Elliott with damage.
This was a really hard hit. Kyle Busch, when he came in.
Yes. Michael McDowell from Glendale, Arizona, for Bob Jenkins' Front Row Motorsports, has won the Daytona 500.
How about that?
Man.
That's a huge win for Michael McDowell and that team. Doesn't get any bigger than this.
And a huge crash for everybody else.
I will again say, I feel bad for Brad Keselowski. This is his 3rd time in this video, coming so close to being able to take the lead or the win in the Great American Race and getting crashed out. He had position on teammate Joey Logano up until he was being pushed by Michael McDowell, who sent him into Logano and causing a massive crash that would create a big fireball in turn 30, collecting Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, and many others. McDowell was able to take home the victory this very night, and it was on Valentine's Day in the Loves Ford. But there was no love in the Penske camp, as Brad Keselowski was furious with Joey Logano after this race.
You need to, cause
Ryan Newman and Daytona just don't mix. Ryan Newman does have one Daytona 500, but besides that, he's been caught up in many accidents. And in 2003, he had one of the most violent barrel rolls down the front stretch, having the entire rear axle come apart from his race car as he was flipping. Grass was flying everywhere and parts and pieces were flying everywhere, and this was definitely the highlight of the 2003 Daytona 500.
Oh, here we go. Trouble. That's Casey Kane. It goes sideways. Joey Logano nowhere to go.
Half the field is gone.
The big one at Daytona has happened at lap 97.
That is the huge one at Daytona.
Justin Allgaier.
Oh, the 18 gets on its roof.
And Kyle Busch rolls upside down.
Wow. Got into the 5 a little bit too hard and just turned him. And man, what talk about getting piled up.
Watch the 3 car when we get another replay of Austin Dillon come shooting up through the middle and trying to avoid the accident.
Jimmy comes up, and then McMurray actually comes down and gets onto the left front. It's on from there. I mean, we talked about it earlier. As soon as somebody makes a mistake and you're in this big pack of cars, you're going to take a lot of people with you. It's just how it happens. You can. Some of these cars riding around the back actually got in the wreck as well. So one mistake by a driver, a mistake by...
Here comes Harvick, the 29 with Matt Kenseth.
Oh, Mark got loose. Mark got loose.
And Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side. Right
Again, that 4 through 5 spot every time.
Wins the Daytona 500.
We got one car on his roof coming across the start-finish line.
Still wrecking. They're wrecking everywhere. Boyer's on fire. Jeff Gordon's wrecked.
And they are still wrecking.
Montoya, Stremme, Kenseth.
Man, oh, we saw this one. We saw that one. We saw the last one.
Slid sideways.
Yeah, we saw that one.
Whammo.
I think it's like the craziest
he'll cross the start-finish line unofficially upside down in the 18th position.
On fire. I mean, that's Joey Chitwood couldn't do that.
Pretty wild, bro. And one thing that I did learn about this video, bro, is like that first all the way to first spot, the first place all the way to sixth place, you need to know how to drive, bro. You need to know how to drive, period. But up there, you need to know what you're doing for real, because they coming for your head for real. Because that one little tap, that's it. Because you need to learn how to play defense. You need to learn how to cover yourself and stay in the first place spot. And do not be egotistic. That's one thing. Don't be egotistic. Don't be prideful when you're racing, because you're going to end up crashing. If you see he finna pass you, let him pass you. Get him on the other end. Find a different angle. You can attack him in and attack that angle. And then there you go. You in there. But you know what I'm saying? I just love racing, man. It was just a good video to watch, man. You know what I'm saying? Great video to see. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Road to 200 subscribers, man. Y'all already know what's going on, man. It's your boy A-Key, man. I'm out. Gang.